Hello, welcome back to Story Reckless. I am Nathan. I'm usually the DM here, but we are done with our campaign. And tonight we are going to be doing a postmortem, a campaign wrap-up of Descent into Avernus. And I use he, him pronouns. And we may as well go around and do some intros, and then we're just gonna go into some questions. And anybody in chat, you're welcome to just ask any questions that come to mind, and we'll do our best to answer. But yeah, let's do some intros.
My name's Claire, my pronouns are they, them, and I used to play Kadam, half-elf grave cleric.
My name's Olive. I use she and they pronouns. I used to play Calliope, Air Genasi Artificer.
Hi, I'm Enya, they them pronouns, and Pip occasionally performed me. I used to play Pip.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, yeah, I think we can just kind of jump into this. I don't think there's any reason to do
Recap.
a recap.
Okay, recap the entire campaign, Nathan.
Yeah.
Oh dear God.
You should go get a drink first.
Yeah.
Drunk history.
Drunk history.
I'm not going to recap the entire campaign, but I wonder if I could do it in like 3 sentences. It's like oh my God. Players work for guild. Players find out about Dead 3.
You're probably the intro part.
Yeah.
You got one sentence left.
Yeah, I can't do it in 3 sentences.
Players go down to El Toro.
Yeah, go to hell, save everyone. Good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Go to hell, rob the Avernus archives. Save everyone.
We didn't really save everyone. We saved some of them.
Yeah.
A few
Saved enough.
thousand people.
Yeah.
As more than could be expected.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. Well, let's just start. We actually did get one question, it looks like, from a viewer, ArcF2, who does like to pop in every once in a while. And they asked us, are there any plans for these characters to cameo in another campaign? I don't know. Do any of you have a desire to play one of these characters again in another campaign, or to pop up?
I don't desire to play Kadam again, but Kadam's gonna be in Baldur's Gate, and they've got another 120 years.
Yeah.
Roughly. So, if we end up in Baldur's Gate again, and it's relevant, I don't mind Kadam appearing again.
Oh man, yeah. As an NPC, yeah, I guess so. I guess I didn't consider that. I know that's like what the question is implying, but for some reason I was focused on you all as players. It would require a conversation with the three of you of like, hey, are you comfortable with me taking over your character as an NPC? And then we would go from there. And it sounds like Claire would be fine with me playing Kadam as an NPC.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would be fun if you ever need just like a swindler NPC who gets away with totally outrageous things, even though they really shouldn't be able to.
Oh God, but Pip is so high level at this point that it would be scary to have her show up for like a low level.
Finally, a threat despite everything. Pip Hill levels up, solo levels, and then just goes back to the newbie area.
Yeah. And yeah, I could see like Calliope honestly being like a quest giver.
Yeah, I was about to say that's what
quest
Calliope
giver. Yeah.
Oh,
Go
God,
run
I
this
feel
errand for me, kind of thing.
I do feel like it's too early to ask this sort of question. Like, for cameos, you gotta let them compost a bit. You can't just jump into cameo land, like, right off the tail. It's just like, I'm retiring, but I'm coming out of retirement for one last job. It's like, okay, gotta let the anticipation build.
Yeah. I mean, to answer the question, there are no plans. We haven't even had a chance to discuss that yet. But yeah, I mean, if we continue to do stuff in Faerun and the Sword Coast, I could see it happening, or it could at least be a name drop that's just like off to the side. But yeah, cool. Maybe we start with a quick all-player question.
Wait, no. I want
Yeah.
Winged Dummy to show up as a cameo. I do have that desire. I want to have Winged Dummy. I miss Little Dummy, but Winged Dummy, I think, should go on some adventures.
Okay. Yeah.
As I don't know.
As a cameo, like a construct showing up, is Winged Dummy off on their own now? Just like, do they?
Maybe they run like a mail service.
That'd be so cute.
Amazing.
It's like just I think
There is a mail service based
is.
out of Luskan,
Yeah.
which is a town way to the north.
Yeah, the Luskar Luskar?
Luskar Deliverers.
Yeah.
I think Winged Dummy lives on a random encounter table somewhere now. It's like you come across a mechanical construct with like these saddlebags walking. Do you do anything?
Oh,
like,
amazing.
strange
Wandering
interactions.
merchants or something.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, Slice is in chat. Hi, Slice. Asking a question here. Are you planning on using the 2024 5e rules, or what they are calling Legacy now? I don't know. We haven't gotten that far. I imagine we'll probably be sticking with 5e, but who knows? Like, there's a part of me that does want to read the new rules just to see. I know there are some things that it seems like people do like. I also, I mean, right now, D&D, for us, we are going to be taking a break from it. And these are all questions that we need to, like, answer as a group to kind of figure out what we do want to do next. We do have, like, the next 2 sort of smaller games planned out, which we can talk about at the end of this stream. But it will not be 5e or 2024.
We should just call it 5.5. Why aren't we calling it 5.5?
I think we should call it.
Yes,
It's
thank
5.5.
Nothing is impacted.
This is a fixed problem. They already solved this 20 years ago.
Yeah, 5.5. There we go. We'll call it that. Yeah, thank you. Nothing impactful. Sorry. Yeah, totally. So yeah, again, it's like, honestly, I could see us like just cherry picking stuff from 5.5 and then, like, I don't know, looking at it, be like, hey, this is really cool, and then just
like how they fixed the mounted combat rules. Oh wait, they didn't.
Oh, they did.
Touch it. Like,
some of the stuff that I've been seeing that actually looks kind of cool is how each weapon has like some
Like
specific things.
effects.
They stole it from Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh,
so funny.
Awesome. Oh, well, there you go. That's why it's cool. Yeah.
It's very well done.
Yes.
In Baldur's Gate 3.
Well, there you go. So I do really like that a lot. Like, that seems really cool because weapons do feel in 5e, it's like, it doesn't
pick the
feel
one with
like
the biggest
anything.
number.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why would I not pick a greatsword? Or is there one other thing that gets 2d6? A maul, maybe? But yeah. Anyways, lurking. Thank you, Zapdude, for lurking. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I do want to ask some for all of you guys. I guess this one's just very much a softball here. Were there any NPCs or PCs that you had a crush on but never pursued?
The big Minotaur guy, come on, Claire.
We'll get to me. Enya's saying something here.
I mean, but yeah, also the big Minotaur guy, for sure.
Which
I don't know his name. Whatever. He was the big Minotaur.
Yeah, I got you.
Torador.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Toragor.
that's
Toragor.
the difference between Pip and Kadam right there, I think, also. What did Kadam want to do? Cut his hair?
Oh, I think just hug him.
Very specifically, lie on his chest, like ear to his chest, while he talked, and then Kadam would just experience the rumble.
I
Also,
actually,
he's pretty to look at.
that does sound very nice. Okay.
Excellent. Is it big Minotaur guy? Is that it for everybody? Did Calliope feel that way too?
I think it took me a while to like get dialed in on like Calliope's orientation.
Yeah.
And I think Calliope might be ace. Like, I don't know. She played at it sometimes, but I think that was more just like for the bit.
Yeah.
More than anything else, or like social pressures.
Sure.
She like pursued Manfred, I remember, was like in a kind of like harassment sort of way.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
But I think it was just like because she could, and it made him uncomfortable.
Just pushing buttons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kadam was both.
Yeah.
Kadam was both amused and bemused and concerned about that dynamic.
Amazing.
I will say, despite Kadam being ace, they did fall in love constantly and immediately. Like I have a list of people who Kadam was in love with and perfectly content to just have it be what it was. Like they had a crush on Valor at first, which immediately vanished upon Valor willingly kidnapping another person for entertainment. But
at Mad Maggie's. Yeah.
But like that barkeep in Marin.
Yeah.
Galen, no, Kate, Brightwood. The chief
Brightwood.
Kalen, thank you, Kalen Brightwood, the chief of
The
security.
library cop.
Yes. Imsh.
I would hope so.
Shoot, Bernie. Bernie was a little weird. Fell in love at the first meeting, and then they did not fall in love at the first meeting, and but yeah.
Yeah, I think the only person really Calliope like fell for was Petra, and like doesn't even know what to do with those feelings. Like those are really unresolved. I don't remember her really being infatuated with anybody else. Herself.
It was so sweet to see you interact with Petra.
Yeah. Petra was important, I think, for Calliope to exist.
I think Petra was a great character that really helped, like, I thought helped really create a lot of investment for Elturel.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
I see Zapnude asking, is there a plan to run another campaign? We are planning to run two different systems that will not be run by me. So our first, I may as well just talk about it now. Our first one is going to be run by Claire. We are going to be, unless you want to,
Yeah, I'm going to be running a short campaign of Monster Hearts, which is a queer high schoolers who are also literal monsters. It's very juicy. It's gonna get really mindfucky, hopefully.
Claire, I want you to know I watched an episode of Teen Wolf.
Okay, so I have not seen Teen Wolf, but I was on Tumblr when Teen Wolf was
That's
popular.
the problem. I know, so that's all I know from Teen Wolf is from Tumblr. And watching it, I was like,
Great. So my guess is you're good to go. But yeah, I'll be running that for most of May.
Yeah. And then I believe the plan is after that to do, Olive, do you want to speak on that? Or
Lancer. We doing Lancer, baby.
And I guess, that's far enough out. We haven't really gotten to the specifics of it. Like, I'm assuming it's going to be a shorter thing, whether it's one shot or...
It could be longer. Kind of, we could see how we feel.
Uh-huh.
I got some projects. I want to make a Lancer mega dungeon, and I've been like thinking about this for a while, about like how to best structure that. Is it like a what's the blood, not Bloodkeep? What's the one that you ran, Claire? The Blood Vault? Doom Vault.
Doom Vault.
Doom Vault, where it's like you're just like breaching and clearing like rooms, or if is it like a Darkest Dungeon, like you delve in and like come out sort of thing.
I like, personally, I like the idea of the Darkest Dungeon one because I like the idea of always being able to return to like some sort of hub where there are NPCs to interact with.
That's what I'm honestly thinking too, and it works a little bit better with Lancer's system, where like if your mech gets destroyed, it's fine because you can just like during the next long rest, essentially reprint your whole mech with a printer. But like those are kind of mostly at hubs.
Yeah, for people that don't know, Lancer is like sci-fi mech combat. Is that the basic?
Yeah. I'm so excited.
So that should be cool. Nice change of pace. I mean, we're
going to make terrible television. I regret to inform you. Like I've seen other Lancer streams and people have tried.
Okay.
Because it's two different things. There's I have thoughts about this.
Go ahead.
Talk about it.
We should save this for our actual like team meeting stuff so that we can talk through it. But that's the plan right now. And then after that, not really sure. We're still figuring that out. I don't know. Like
I have a couple things that I would be happy to run, just like a short one-shot thing.
Well, there we go. What system would you want to run it in?
Either Kane, which is like exorcist detectives.
Ooh, okay.
Who deal with like physical manifestations of human trauma. I would do that, or
like the existence of cars.
Okay, well, you know what? I decided to reskin it. I've started reskinning it, but also, fuck you, I hate cars, I hate cars, I hate cars. I am saying it with my whole chest on this stream. You want to know how I got the scar?
That's really funny, you saying how much you hate cars, and then there was so much about Avernus that revolved around basically cars.
Yes.
That's how I want cars to be, okay? Because I love Mad Max, but I hate living in LA.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yes, I hear you. Yeah. Awesome. Well, yes, so that's Zapnu. That is our rough plan right now. I would say that it gets more and more blurry the further we go out, but the Monster Hearts for sure, and then definitely Lancer, and then and anyway, that'd be awesome if you want to run a couple one shots or even something longer. I'm super up for that. I personally am looking forward to a break. I need a little break.
You've been at it for a long time.
For 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, 4 years for this, and then actually Zapnude knows, and then I did another stream in the middle of this, and then I've also been running home games, so I'm just kind of like a little burnt out on GMing/DMing. I need a little bit of a break, and then there's other things happening in my life that make it also I need a break. But with that, let's see here. I'm trying to think of a bigger one that we can tackle. Why don't we do some player-specific questions. And I'm going to start down at the bottom of my screen, so we'll start with Enyo. Yeah, Enyo, can you tell us why Pip decided to go all in with Mad Maggie instead of trying to find a way to like get out of the deal with her? What was the moment? I mean, it seemed to be that moment we all saw on screen, but like, what was it about that got her to be like, you know what, let's do it?
Pip had been feeling that way for a while, but was sort of fighting against it, lying to herself that because she could like hear Kadam's voice saying like, this doesn't seem healthy. And but it never actually seemed that bad to Pip. Just like, okay, I'm feeling these emotions that aren't mine and that are kind of off-putting. But Pip is a performer at heart. She lives for the audience. And actually, I think she needs the audience for her continued survival. Like, she doesn't know what to do when left to her own.
And now she knows there's somebody there always.
Exactly, yeah. And it felt more like starring as a dashing heroine in an Avernus soap opera for the exclusive enjoyment of Mad Maggie. And it was giving her a sense of purpose. She's like, I tried being good, and that didn't take. But I can pretend to be good.
Yeah.
What is the difference for Pip?
That she's willing to drop character at any moment. As soon as it cuts it a little too close to her continued survival, she'll bend knee and fail to convince Ariel.
That's fair. That's a distinction.
I'm gonna go to the next question here. Olive, was Calliope ever tempted by the resources that Belle could offer, or that the Hells in general could offer? And could you see a world where she could have been tempted to work with Belle or Zariel?
So I think for how manic and distractible Calliope is, she also can be extremely undistractable. And the entire time in Avernus, everything was put through a filter of, will this help me get Elturel back or not?
Yeah.
And everything else was just secondary. And so, like, I guess the closest thing that Belle could have offered would be to directly, like, oppose Zariel or, like, give us, like, direct resources or something. And then that's not even, like... Calliope wouldn't even see it as, like, working with Belle or, like, giving into temptation or something. It's like, nope, these are resources available, gonna use them.
Yeah. Like, what if Belle had been able to be more bold and done something like, you know,
like, well, I'll go cut the chains for you if you like do this thing.
That,
she'd be like, great, we're doing it.
I'm thinking even bigger scale of like, hey, start working for me to help me like depose Zariel, and I'll.
That's
like,
too indirect.
Too indirect, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, she only did direct actions in order to get Elturel back. We didn't go on any divergences at all. It was very straightforward and not convoluted. Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, that would have been, like, too transparently self-serving for Belle. It's like, yeah, I guess if you depose her, if you, like, had a specific plan where it's like, do this, overthrow her, and then, like, release everybody in Elturel, yeah, she probably would have done that. No problem.
Okay.
But if it was just like, yes, work to me and we'll work together in order to da-da-da, it's like, no, that's a distraction. Like, God, there's other stuff going on, as wild as it may be, but at least we have a plan. God, especially like immediately post heist, like having to like switch gears off of that would have been hard for her.
When you say post heist, you mean the one with Archon?
Yeah, I mean that's when we met Belle, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, totally. There's been a lot of heists in this campaign, so I needed to clarify.
It's been great.
Yeah.
We should just do a heist system. A system of
Blades
we could do Blades in the Dark.
I was gonna say Blades in the Dark.
Yeah. I've never played it, and I've heard good things. I am tempted to, or I want to play that at some point. But just to kind of springboard off of that, just as I think this should be a much smaller question, but I'm just curious, like, how Calliope felt about all the like different tech that she was being confronted with in Avernus, like the war machines, the flying fortress, any of the weapons that were being used on the said vehicles, like was any of that how did Calliope feel about all that?
That's something I think I have struggled with as a player of Dungeons and Dragons, where we level up so fast in World. It's just like in 2 weeks we go from like being like itty bitty little like paying rent for a couple gold pieces and struggling with that to like facing down an Archduke of Hell.
I will point out that the pacing when we did Candlekeep Mysteries felt a tiny bit better.
Yeah, for sure. Whenever you can like start doing time skips, I think.
Yeah.
So like I guess the rent one's a bad example, but
like,
I
hear you. Yeah. If we had done this from the very beginning, it totally would have been that exactly. It would have been 2 weeks ago we were struggling to pay rent, and now we're fighting Zariel. So,
yeah. And so I guess I've struggled with how do you explain that incredible increase in power? And I think for Calliope it was being in Hell and being exposed to all of these different sources of power and materials. I think the physics of Avernus work differently. I don't think a lot of the stuff that she did for Winged Dummy probably last.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Up onto the material plane. I mean, it's the whole Karlach and Baldur's Gate 3 thing, right? It's like, yeah, you got your little infernal heart down there, but like you come up here and like the rules of the world just work a little bit differently, and it'll kill you. Otherwise, like, you know, why is all that stuff down there and not up on the material plane?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd sell my soul for a cool car.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, there's...
I mean, how cool is the car, though?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, so I think, like, how do Calliope feel about it? It was all tools, and she was using those tools to level up fast.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, let me jump over to you, Claire. I'm curious, I don't think we've covered this on stream, but why did Kadam decide to stay behind with Lulu and Yonder after the Avernon heist? Like, you know, that moment, you know, there was only the 2 bikes, so theoretically only 2 people could get away, but you guys were clever and, you know, figured out how to get 3 people away. But I don't know, I think there was a part of me that was a little surprised. I really thought it was going to probably be, I thought it was going to be Pip that was going to get left behind, because I figured it would be, Kadam is attuned to the sword and has it. Like, of course, Kadam's going to be one of the things that people focus on to be like, we got to get Kadam out. But so yeah, what happened there?
A couple different things. One, it was clear we were leaving Yonder. And something that Kadam had even before going to Avernus, but that Avernus really encouraged in them, is their savior complex. They very much view themselves as someone who helps others to a certain extent, whether or not those people want to be helped. And that's something that they will deal with, or not, because they came out with it a lot stronger than they went into it with. But like, there was very much this sense of, I cannot abandon Yonder is my project. Uh, and then once it seemed like Lulu was also going to be there, well, they couldn't abandon Lulu either. She was the heart and soul of this, and she could not be trusted around Zarya. It was not self-sacrificial. It was very much Kadam trying to maintain control of the situation. Mm-hmm. It wasn't heroic. It was an act of control. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're only Yonder, not with Kadam has.
If someone else needed to stay because there wasn't room, probably. If it was we just can't take one person,
we can leave Yonder.
We can. I don't know. Kadam might have left, but then Kadam would have gone back for Yonder later.
I guess we hadn't quite figured out the bat mechanic of just turn into a tiny bat.
Yeah.
That is a way that Yonder could have escaped that situation, but it just
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not Kadam's, I would say, most moral moment, but, it worked out.
Oh, yeah, no.
Surrendering the sword was hard.
Giving that to the group that left.
Yeah, like, Kadam wanted to keep the sword so badly, they genuinely did not understand what Calliope was asking for. Like, they did not process that Calliope was asking them to hand over the sword. It was not until Valor tried to rip it out of their hand. Valor trying to rip it out of their hands? They pushed it on Valor.
Yeah, I think you just gave it to Valor, yeah.
Yeah, but that...
Man, that would have complicated things even more if the group didn't have the sword. Yeah. No.
What would have happened if Zariel had gotten her hands on it?
She probably would have destroyed it.
Oh.
Yeah. And then had taken the pieces and assigned some elite people to start trying to figure out how to reforge it into I forget what
Evil
it's called.
sword.
Yeah, there's a whole thing in the module where it's like you can just decide to work for Zariel. You can like bring her the sword and she destroys it, and then she goes, all right, make me a new sword, and there's like a whole quest to like go and reforge.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. There's a whole thing for like reforging the sword into like, it's called like the Sword of Avernus or something.
How does that campaign line end?
Again, it's like they give you, I think, like 3 paragraphs of text of like a outline basically, because it's probably really unlikely that most groups would do this. So then if a group does it, it's like you kind of have an outline, and then I think you have to figure it out, because it's like in order to forge the sword, you need to get like, there's like material you have to get that would be challenging. I mean, for a high level party, it's absolutely doable, but
that's a wild decision for them to include. Like, just if your players decide to abandon the main quest line. Okay, cool.
I mean, that is one thing. I do actually appreciate that they include that. Like that is nice. But yeah, it's like, oh my god, it would be quite a thing.
I could see that happening if if there's some sort of traumatic. I mean, a lot of traumatic things happen in Avernus. Or if, I don't know, somebody wanted to take a double agent route.
Yeah, a double agent route's cool. But also, like, The devils have a point. I'm not saying it's a great point, but it is a valid point.
It's called Forging the Blade of Avernus is the little, like, outline. And then, it gives you, like, a very rough outline. And so you would need to make sure that you have a weaponsmith that can forge it. So if Bell is still alive, or if Bell is still in the service of Zariel, he could do so. So that would probably be a whole thing of, like, that could turn into a whole thing, right, of determining if Bell is actually going to do it or not, or convincing Bell to do it. A talon from Tiamat. The blood.
Another heist.
Yeah. The blood must. The once the weapon is forged, it must be quenched in the blood of a celestial, a demon lord, or an archdevil. Zariel can supply her own blood, but her servants must collect the other 2 sacrifices. Oh, I'm sorry. No. It needs to be quenched in the blood of all 3. So you need a celestial, a demon lord, and an archdevil that you need to quench it in. And then if you do all that, it's the sword functions as a Vorpal sword, and then it has a bunch of other properties. So, anyways,
and then you can use it to fight Zariel.
Well, no, I think you give it. Well, yeah, she gets it, and then you go, no.
It was all for the sword.
But anyways, so like so to answer your question, if the sword had ended up on the Flying Fortress and then in front of Zariel, if she got her hands on it, she would have destroyed it and then started the process of reforging it. So. And then the only way to open the companion would be, I would have allowed like some rolls to figure out using like those charges or something like that. But you also could have gone and gotten the keys to unlock it. Or you could have, I don't know, just come up with some other idea of getting everybody back. But yeah, it was rough. That is definitely one thing about this module, is that the win conditions are pretty specific and
there's no way for you to know them at the outset.
And there's no way for you to know them, So, yeah. Anyways.
The keys, having that be there's this entire quest line that you missed, and you didn't have an inkling of until you're like at the final dungeon.
Yeah. Well, so I guess the thing with the companion is it can be opened with the sword, as we saw, or the keys. Yeah. So like they do give you 2 options, but yeah.
But like you have the sword at that point in the campaign, almost certainly.
Certainly, yes, and almost certainly, a player will attune to it. It seems very likely. Yeah. Like there are a lot of very likely things that most people will do. I will say with our group, I wasn't certain. I was like, I don't actually know. Are they gonna buy into this? And it very understandably, it took a lot to like really, for me to massage this campaign for it to feel even remotely like
sensical.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
I really like this question. What would your turn to serve Zariel evil outfits be? Thanks, Olive.
Sorry, well, what is this?
What would your turn to serve Zariel evil outfits be? Because when you change, you get a cool evil outfit.
Yes.
That's true.
Mm. Pips would just be like some kind of she would try and like sort of mimic Zariel, but I think there would be a lot of red leather involved.
A lot of red.
Something complementary but more femme.
Mm-hmm.
And would be like have totally cool horns that are bejeweled. Yeah.
I think Clivey might go the General Grievous route and just be like, the thing that turned her was like some accident, and like her friends left and she saw El Terrell fall into the Styx, and there's nothing left for her but revenge. And so like she goes and like works for maybe Zariel, maybe Bell, but like most of her body has been like turned into like a mechanical contraption. So she just has like tons of like spider legs, probably like lots of spikes everywhere that just like have electricity like zapping between them. I
She
think
becomes a mech.
She becomes
like her Bahamut tattoo would probably like have been corrupted or like burnt off, and like so it's just like all like scarification and stuff, because apparently scars make you evil and robot bodies make you evil. But like, God, what would the fashion be? I think like peacock tails, like things that are just like spread out among like spines. I think just like lots of spines, very like high runway fashion, like experimental.
I could see this in
a lot of people.
Yeah.
What is evil Kadam? What is
okay. So addressing fashion, I think we're going like silver rings that have like fine chains, silver chains connecting them to, I'm not sure. I feel like we should go up to like the elbow or something.
Incredible.
So like there's still the weight of the bracelets, there's still the metal of the bracelets, but now we're going chains because Zariel likes chains. I think we're thinking like silver and navy instead of bronze and gray blue. Still very comfortable, still very like
so cozy evil.
Cozy evil. Probably lots of drapey things that swish nicely, but then also like silver breastplate still.
Oh my God, I could see this Kadam's like sweeping into a prison with like some captured protagonists and being like, well, now let me tell you about the Blood War. Like, I understand your viewpoints, but like, just like, we're doing a lot of good work here.
Kadam would get converts.
Oh my God.
I have now, like, since you asked this question, I have been thinking about what evil Kadam would be like, and I do not want to be stuck in the same room as them.
What? Yeah. What is? Who are they? Like, what drives them to that? And what realistically could? Yeah.
I think that their goal would be concluding the Blood War, to like cease the suffering. Not even necessarily to win, but to like end it.
Right.
And their perspective would be that the devils actually have there is a world after the devils win, in a way that there is not if the demons win.
But what what are things? What are evil things that Kadam could do in that I'm just struggling to see like Kadam shifting into a world where Kadam is okay with Zariel dragging cities into hell, right? Like I feel like it would have to be something else. What's something that Kadam could be doing that is could be seen as wrong or evil or immoral? Because I just struggle to imagine that.
I think Kadam would be deeply manipulative.
Okay.
I think that they would read people so well and then just pick and choose which parts of them they're going to address and which parts of them they are going to appeal to. This is just Nathan, do you remember the conversation that Zog and Agatha had? Like out of game.
That is so. This is a pull from my very, very first character ever in D&D, when Claire and I very first played together. And I gotta say, like in the vaguest way, do I remember that conversation at this moment. I think if I really sat here and like dug, I might be able to remember more. But
yeah.
I know that Agatha really believed, and so yeah, let's not get too far into this because nobody has this context.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so
that
yeah.
appeal to both emotion and reason.
So just
in an unexpected ways, even and that like drawing people in, even though it is very clear that this person is not on your side.
Okay. Would you be a Thavius Creed then? Like you'd be working on the material plane, bringing in resources?
Either that, or I would be like an interrogator or something.
Yeah. Convincing people to give up information or join.
Yeah.
They're like, torture me all you will, I'll never give you the information. It's like, oh, how do you feel about that?
Right.
We're just like, wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, if like Kadam got in a role to work with Zariel, convinces Zariel to like make some changes so that Kadam could work more effectively, and when prisoners are brought to like wherever Kadam works, let's say it's Zariel's fortress, you know, the fortress looks all classically scary and evil or whatever, and then they're brought into the interrogation room and it's super comfy and like they get all their needs met and they sit down and now they're just there with Kadam for as long as they need to be, for Kadam to show them the light of what they need to do.
As long as they need to be.
As long as they need to be.
I would watch this. Fund it. I want to see evil Kadam interrogate.
This is a good, I feel like this is a great character to hold on to though, of having that moment of going into the big evil guy's fortress, and it's very much like, oh, look at how scary and evil this is, and then you get brought into that room that is nothing like that, and yeah, that's great.
Kadam looks up from reading like a comfy book and offers you a hard candy.
Yeah.
Well, it would absolutely be something like Kadam coming into the prison after the first round of torture and playing the good cop like, hey, you don't deserve this. Here's what I can give you. If you cooperate with me, I can give you more. Like, no.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. That was very good.
Kadam's like, I have this magical artifact that like 15 souls are running that make it so you can taste the hard candy. we really pulled out all the stops in this one, but I thought it was important.
Man, that's great. What else we got here?
There's a one-shot idea.
Yeah, I know. It's been a lot of good ideas. Which there was something, no, it's not. But yeah. Let me see here. There's one here for me that I feel like I'm trying to remember this. What was the largest chunk of work you prepared and then you completely missed? That I prepared for the campaign and we all completely missed. It's a good question. I don't think there was anything that was huge that I had to just completely throw out. Like I always was pretty, for better or worse, I was pretty good about like only really preparing for what was very clearly what you all were gonna do. The biggest stuff that I maybe threw out were just like maps, which to be honest isn't that bad. Like, you know, I was able to throw together maps relatively quickly using, you know, just like it's like a dungeon fog or whatever. But yeah, there's quite a few maps that I threw out specifically for the final encounters at the end of the campaign, because I had maps for like different potential scenarios. Like I had one that was like in the center of the park of El Terrell in case you all decided to go straight to Zariel, because she was right there in like the front lines within the park.
If you want to go die.
Yeah. So like I had that map, and I'm trying to think if I had another map. Like, oh god, were there any other maps that I made? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, nothing is like really jumping out as being like, I did do some amount of prep for the if you had done the Adamantine Rod quest, I did do a little bit of prep there for like that fortress was going to be and what that heist would have been essentially. And a lot of it was, I was just looking at forums online. Like I think there was one on like the Exandrian or something for Zariel's Flying Fortress. So I was like taking ideas from that. So I kind of started that, but I never fully committed to it. And then you all quickly were like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And I was like, okay, great. So I just kind of stopped. So yeah, I was pretty good about not doing too much in one direction. And part of that is probably just because of my bad work habits of procrastinating and having to crunch things in, which just means that it doesn't happen that often. So, yeah. What else do we got here? I mean, I can just quickly touch on some of the campaign stuff, like least favorite parts and favorite parts, most challenging parts, most rewarding. So yeah, this campaign in general, I had a lot of issues with the more we got into it. And I think I've said this before on stream. Initially, when we started this, I got very much like seduced by the characters that were in the module. Like I was reading through the module and I was like, oh my God, you can have a face-to-face interaction with Tiamat, with Zariel, with Belle, with Inagu. There are all there are all these gigantic names. If you're familiar with Faerun lore, there's all these like huge characters that you can run into. Mordenkainen, right? Just like these giant names that you can run into, and that was like thrilling to me to be like, oh my God, that's just so cool that you could do that. And also, funny enough, when I first read through it, I was like, wow, this seems kind of like a sandbox. I also really like that. Turns out I was very wrong on that. I don't know why I thought that when I read it. So yeah, I got really seduced by the setting, the characters, and the further we got into it, the more I realized it was like pretty linear in kind of the worst ways, where there was a lot of assumptions being made that players would just do a thing because the quest giver gave them the thing, and there was no good reason why. Like it was just oh yeah, of course they're gonna do it. A quest giver gave it to them. But that's not how we play. Like that is not how we play. And it didn't give you any guidance for logic as to why you were being given that. So I had to do a ton of extra work going on the online for there's the Alexandrian remix, which I used a bunch of stuff from there. There's running Avernus as a sandbox, which I got, I think, from DM's Guild. I can't remember who the author is, but I used that. And then I did a whole fucking homebrew thing for the Avernon archive, which is really fun. I'm really glad you all liked it.
It was great.
Yeah, so most challenging part of the campaign was all of the reworks that needed to be done to get this campaign to feel logical, and for things to fit together nicely, and for things to make sense, and to give you all like reasons to be doing things. So that was really hard. If I was to redo things, I've talked about this before, if I was to redo this again, like one of the biggest changes I would do, which people talk about online all the time, is to just have all the players be from Elturel, and you just go down to hell with Elturel. And I think if you want the cool stuff that happens in Baldur's Gate, and like the political intrigue, and having Zariel or Vanthampur and all that, whatever, just it's in Elturel instead of Baldur's Gate, right? Like just, I don't know, just change the name of the city and the encounters if you really want to. Because it definitely, like Calliope, I thought you had a great connection to everything, and I think that really helped throughout the campaign to have Calliope there, to kind of keep things on track and to give it that stronger like motive to everything. But Pip you were definitely like along for the ride, looking for opportunities, you know, but I never really got the sense that Pip like super cared about El Tyrell, unless I'm misspeaking.
No, she did not care.
Yeah.
It was the soap opera.
Yeah. And then Kadam, I know Kadam cared, but Kadam also was like, I want to be home, because that is also in trouble. So, and the most rewarding, I mean, finishing the campaign, like that final episode was very rewarding. Having it all come together, having, the most rewarding part of Avernus specifically probably started with the Avernus archive all the way to the end, because we really started to actually get to interact with Zariel more directly, especially when Kadam got caught and like stayed behind. All of that was super rewarding to finally get Zariel on screen, to have like face to face, and then for all of that to culminate in that final scene was just like really, really rewarding. Prior to that, though, the other most rewarding part of this entire endeavor was the whole homebrew thing that we did. Sorry, this was before Enyo, before you joined us, but the whole homebrew thing that we did with the Butcher.
Yeah, the Slithering Tracker.
With the Slithering Tracker, that was super rewarding. And
that was the best part of pre-Avernus.
Yeah,
hands down.
You should write up your notes and publish it as a module.
Yeah, I have the two now. I have the Avernus Archive and the Slithering Tracker, and yeah, I agree, Olive. I think it would be fun to put that out there and see what people think. So that's kind of, I think, covers that whole chunk of questions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're all welcome. I mean, this whole thing, I mean, this kind of goes into I saw a question about, like, what has surprised you about the endeavor of Story Reckless? What has surprised me? What has surprised me? I mean, getting people to show up who we don't have no connection to has been surprising and really wonderful. Like Slice showing up and reoccurring. It's really nice to just have like complete stranger decide to want to sit around with us and listen to us talk and tell us
100%. I think that's the biggest surprise for me, like how many people.
Yeah.
Like we're a small stream, but so like having anyone like show up.
Strangers
we have strangers who are giving us external validation.
Yeah, so that's a big surprise. It's also just even the people that are our friends, like those of you that continue to return back to watch us, like that's also just really heartwarming and nice, because for anyone who decides to watch us, it's like there's so much competing for your attention, so it's just really truly like so that has been a surprise and has been really nice. I mean, obviously it's part of the goal of what we're doing here. We want people to watch us and for us to tell this story all together, and hopefully for people to enjoy it, but still it's great. What about, I mean, for all of you, is there any aspects of the campaign or any surprises you want to touch on?
I feel like we already did. I mean, the biggest surprise of the campaign was Kadam's choice to stay behind.
Yeah.
Hence, I thought that was brilliant. And everything that happened in the last episode too.
The biggest surprise of the campaign for me was also Kadam choosing to stay behind. But for like what has surprised me about Story Reckless as an endeavor has been how well we have like interacted with one another. Olive and Nathan and I did a ton of work before we even committed to doing Story Reckless, talking about what do we as individuals want out of this? What do we as a group want our goal to be? How do we tend to handle conflict? How do we want to handle conflict? How do we enjoy, like, how can we best receive and hear praise from one another? Like, all of these, like, meta conversations about how we wanted to do this. And frankly, I think that those conversations that we had 4.5 years ago continue to pay dividends now in terms of how we address conflict and how we care for one another through a global pandemic and the incredible social and political unrest we're now experiencing.
Yeah, it's definitely paid off, and I'm very appreciative of that, because that type of communication doesn't come naturally to me, especially for creative projects like this. So I appreciated having the effort be made to like make sure that we did all that. Yeah, because like every creative project I've ever done, like, has always been just fucking just kind of go, and it's always like it's very focused on the work, but it doesn't talk about all the stuff around the work that ends up coming up, and that is really important. So yeah.
I wasn't there for. Oh, sorry.
No, go.
Yeah.
Please.
I wasn't there for the initial conversations, but I think the conversations that we have had about all of those have changed the way that I interact with just with conflict, really. And I think that it is definitely for the better. I feel like Story Reckless has been, this is the biggest surprise for me, is just how consistent it is and how grounding it is.
Showing up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday.
That, for real,
Yeah.
that is a big surprise, is that we have continued to do this, and it is like, it has not like just drifted away into the wind, because that totally happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you so much. I mean, all the three of you, for all of the work that you put into this.
You're welcome. It's a joy.
Cool. Yeah, watching Olive like throw together a new frame and then being like, "Oh, we're gonna do a group photo," and you're a Calliope voice in that for some reason.
That will always be there. That voice. I feel
Yeah,
like.
okay, that was really nice. I have historically I've historically had a lot of trouble like doing character voices and like sticking with them. Like, I usually overcook it. Like, the fact that I was able to stick with like a Calliope voice the entire thing did a lot for me. That was really nice. It made her real in a really satisfying way.
Great.
Yeah, that I've never been able to access before. That ruled.
Calliope was a great character. I'm so glad that she showed up, and I also felt that Olive, I really felt that you like really like flourished into that character.
I was so sad as Lovelace. Like, every time I showed up, I was just like, oh no, Lovelace feels guilty again. Time to go and inhabit a guilty and sad mind space.
Yeah.
Taking all this pressure on, and then like it was, I think like I built Calliope out kind of in a response to that. It's like, nah, I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It was
like,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it is funny, because I do also like where Lovelace ended up, and I really like Lovelace's arc.
In a farm downstate.
Yeah. But Calliope was a great.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we did that and that you did that. Like, yeah, so good. I did see a question here that I wanted to, that I'm very curious about. If you guys can remember any moment like this, but were there any like one decision or any decisions that you made during the campaign that you would have wanted to have changed or taken back? Like, do your characters regret anything?
Well, those are two different questions.
I guess so, yeah. So we'll start with the first one. Was there any decision that you would have wanted to have changed or take back?
Why the hell did Pip and Valor go after the Madcaps alone? That was so stupid. Why did they do that?
Because we thought they were low-level enemies, and then they
Yeah.
were getting like 3 attacks per round, and it's like, oh no!
That's why.
Should have
take that
scanned.
back.
Should have
Take
scanned
that back.
first.
Should have scanned.
I mean, the whole thing is kind of like story reckless, so it's like, yeah, the whole making decisions that have bad consequences is
Yeah.
the whole point.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I don't know about taking things back. I think, like, the regret one kind of, like, makes more sense of just, like, okay, I regret. Do we have any regrets? I don't know.
No regrets.
Hashtag getting the tattoo that says Oathbreaker seemed like a good idea at the time.
Where is it again? Is it on your neck?
It's on the
It's
back
like
of
the back of the
Yeah.
neck.
Yeah.
Each of
Okay,
the-
because it's the same place for everyone. Oh, it would have been so good to get a tramp stamp.
Oathbreaker.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Probably incorrect. I regret not getting a chance to go freaking free Rosala.
Yeah.
I had the Titan blood. I had it in the quest
Oh.
log. I just needed
That
to
was-
do.
yeah.
If we had more time, if we weren't quite so rushed there to get it done in that episode, we
Yeah.
might have done some prep work.
I mean, there was also, I'm trying to think. Yeah. Because there was also the pressure of the Celestial had been freed at that point, or maybe I guess you could have done
Yeah.
it before. Yeah. Hi, Cosmonaut. Good to see you. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. I don't think I have any. Sorry. I wouldn't call it a regret. I would say if I could figure out how to do it over, I would do it over. But Kadam's vocabulary is too complex and advanced for how they grew up and their education level. And
I see.
that's on me, you know? But there are absolutely times where I cannot figure out how to express myself without using multisyllabic words. But yeah, I feel like if I could have simplified Kadam's vocabulary a little bit, that would have been good.
Okay. For their character.
I wish Pip and Calliope had gotten like something more tangible. I feel like we orbited around each other. It's just like Calliope's like, yes, you're an apprentice. Yes, you're a tool. Yes, like I feel like we never really like landed on what the dynamic was.
It's
between
true.
them.
It's true. Yeah. They
We never really nailed that.
Yeah, it was hard. It was. I feel like we didn't have a solid idea of where Pip fit into any of the group dynamics until like the last episode, where it's like.
I felt very much like you were the one who wanted things. Like where Calliope was driven to protect herself and her home. And Kadam really just wanted to be a very good boy. Pip wanted things out in the world and was the one who like looked out at the world and saw what was there to engage with materially, which we just didn't have before you arrived.
We gotta have somebody loot the body.
Exactly. Someone needs to loot the bodies.
Yeah, that's true. I, as always, become the body looter.
Yeah.
I guess that was really why. Yeah, that was the idea that I had coming in with Pip. It was like, okay, somebody here needs to make bad decisions.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Or somebody here at least needs to start making bad decisions.
Yeah.
You need somebody to push the red button when it is presented to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Make some bad deals.
Yeah.
Just keep things spicy.
I wish Pip. Okay, see, the problem is Pip is supposed to be like, ooh, I'm a business slicker. Enyo is not a business slicker. Enyo constantly forgets, like, oh yeah, I did a thing. And honestly, it should have been a better deal because I don't haggle. I'm just like, that's the price. Okay, I'll take it. Sure, that sounds good to me.
Just my soul, no problem. No problem.
I've figured that away a couple times.
Yeah.
God, the idea of like selling your soul multiple times and letting other people find it out is so funny to me.
Yes. I do want to figure out what the Avernus legal system looks like. I do. Claire wants to sit in a court and just like watch some random, like very run-of-the-mill
Custody battle?
Yeah, what does a custody battle look like in Avernus?
Over a soul? Oh my god.
Avernus Judge Judy? That sounds so good.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Cosmonaut asks, I was wondering if you were to do another campaign with these characters, what or where would you want to plop them into? What would you want to see them take on?
I think Calliope would do pretty well in like a Star Trek sort of situation. Of just like, go look for new things, overcome challenges. Like Farfield, it's another game in the Lancer universe, which is kind of like, it's just like Star Trek, where you're like on like away missions, going to like unexplored or like uncontacted planets. Or like solving riddles and stuff. She would have a great time being like the science officer, I think, on the spaceship or as an away team. She'd do fantastic.
She needs to figure out a way to get up to that ship that is
She
orbiting.
does need to figure out how to get up into
Orbiting.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Primrose and Propriety.
Yeah. Team up with Primrose and Propriety. Yeah. If
Yeah.
anybody saw our Candlekeep adventures earlier on, there was one where a tower turned out to be a rocket ship and it flew up into orbit over
Very silly.
Faerun. Yeah.
The quest was to stop it from happening, and we were like, of course not. Are you kidding?
Yeah, let's get on this. Let's go. Yeah. What about for Kadam or Pip? I mean, I think I know for Kadam.
We're just doing politics.
Politics in Baldur's Gate.
Politics in Baldur's Gate. We're stopping how we started.
I think Pip has a list or a bucket list that she's kind of just crossing off, and one of them is like, okay, help depose Duke Vanthampur if Kadam hasn't done it already, and then next is like just like an El Terrell politics ? Is at the top and crossed out, like checked off.
Tried for a little bit.
Good enough. All that really matters is trying. And yeah, I think somewhere down there is like, oh yes, find brother, and like check. And Pip would probably make up with him and decide like, okay, here, we can work our way back up and do it all over again.
Oh my god. Help him solve the maze so he can he can escape.
Yeah, just like, hey, you seem to be in a situation here. Sure would owe me a lot if I helped you out of it.
Get a hold of a wish spell and make the sun set in the Feywild.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
God, just chaos for the entire plane.
Yes.
Speaking of regrets, that is maybe one thing I do kind of regret, was not spending more time figuring out how to incorporate more of your backstory, Pip/Enyo. It's Enyo. To incorporate Pip's backstory into Avernus, because I did have a whole half-baked idea of trying to get your brother's commander to show up in Avernus somehow, but I get so hung up on having things make sense, and I got really hung up on timelines, and I was trying to figure out the timeline and how long you had been away from the Feywild and da-da-da-da. Anyways, it was, yeah.
There was a lot. There was so much already going on.
Oh, yeah. I know. It would have been I felt I mean, here's the thing. I think ultimately we ended up in a good spot because each one of you had kind of a major thing, right? So we had Elturel for Calliope/Glim. We had the Celestial showing up at the end there for Kadam. And then obviously when he came back to Baldur's Gate, the wrap up of Baldur's Gate. And then for Enya, or for Pip, there was the whole Mad Maggie stuff. And then that just sort of
And then the Gideon thing.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Really
I mean,
the Gideon stuff.
Yeah, all the stuff related to that. So I think it worked out, but I just do wish a little bit that we had brought that in. So. I saw Cilio asking here, fast forward 1 year, what is something that will remind you of your character out in the world?
I have a very easy answer to this one. So Calliope got her name while I was traveling down to the bay to visit and kind of set this thing up with Claire and Nathan. And in the Portland airport, there's a store, a gift shop called Calliope that you have to stare at for half a minute as you're on a moving walkway, and you just are going closer and closer and closer to it. You're just straight towards this door. There's nothing to look at but it. And I was just, oh yeah, Calliope. That's a fun thing. And Calliope means beautiful voice. It's the muse with the singing. So I thought it was fun to have them be and Calliope.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I don't know. Already, I think of Calliope every time I look at that store for the Portland airport. Yeah.
I also will now think of Calliope if I ever see that store.
I'm making a little shrine to Kadam in my office. I'm gonna get their character art nicely printed out and I'll frame it, and I'm gonna have a little shelf with their pipe and the bracelet that Calliope gave Kadam the raw materials for in the small length of copper wire at the very end. That's gonna be Kadam's first bracelet of their new stack that they're rebuilding.
Right.
So I just grabbed a piece of copper wire and their dice. I don't know if I can ever use those dice for another character.
Oh no, get more dice.
No, I don't need more dice. But
that's fair.
Yeah. I imagine Kadam will still talk to me. My other character does. But I'll probably have to prompt Kadam more often than I have to prompt my other character.
I never want Pip to talk to me. I that's more like having the Green Goblin mask talking to you while you're looking at it, just yeah, come on, just flip over a police car. It doesn't look that heavy.
Fireball, man.
Yeah, just fireball it. Like, I can't.
Your Gargoyle.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything that'll remind you of Pip?
Yeah, I think if I find, whenever I find like a big hefty coin, I'm like, yeah, that's Gilder. That's my little Gilder. Actually, Olive has printed out some big Lancer coins that I always think of. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So every time I see that, I think like, what's up, Gilder?
Oh my god. I would love
Maybe if I see some really big Cavalier boots.
Yeah.
Then you have to sign, I don't know, like a housing lease or something.
Oh god, yeah. Actually, I did have to sign a contract recently, and I had this moment of like, what do I sign it at? Like, what's my name?
I really want to see now like a physical model or mini of Gilder. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
That sounds doable.
Yeah, exactly. It is.
Yeah.
Very doable.
2 picks on the coin.
Two things on the coin.
Hey, come on. Gilder has like at least 2 points of articulation.
Yeah. Cosmonaut, the being new to D&D, it is crazy how quickly you bond to your character. Like, yeah. I've been having that experience recently because of playing some one-shots with Claire running the one-shots, and like I've done 2 characters now, and it's like probably within, I don't know, 30 minutes of playing those characters, it's like, oh, I want to play this character for a year. Like, I'm ready. This is super fun. So yeah, it is crazy how quick. I don't know if I can answer this question. Like, there's so many freaking characters that I've had to play in this campaign.
I can answer one.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Real quick. I'm angry I never got to use the Sovereign Glue.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Wait, you gave it to Van Baggy, that's right.
Yeah. Just because it seems like there wasn't going to be a chance for it. But then, and I didn't want to have to shoehorn it into the last episode because I knew I would just be thinking the whole time about it.
How do I do this?
Yeah, I have to Sovereign Glue. I'm going to Sovereign Glue.
What would you have used it for if you had it? I can't think of anything.
Sovereign Gluing the sword to Pip's hand so that she could attune to it was my first thought. Just like through sheer, like, how we're gonna be together one way or another.
Different poles, you like push them together.
Yeah.
Lulu was the main character, says Washed Grandpa.
Absolutely.
It's true. Yeah.
Lulu, yeah. What will remind me of Lulu? I don't know. The dumb answer is Mickey Mouse.
Cat suits.
My imagination never wrapped itself around that one. Whenever someone mentioned that Lulu was wearing a cat suit, I managed it, but at no point in between.
Yeah, I mean, my image of Lulu is always without it. And then, yeah, it was like, I agree. I would be imagining Lulu without it, and then somebody would say it, and it was like a cartoon where it would suddenly just be like, thump, and it would like appear, and like everything would be kind of squished down. Yeah, what would remind me of Lulu? I'm not, those things, and beyond that, I'm not sure. I bet it's going to come up in some really weird way. Like, I just won't expect it. Something will pop up and I'll be like, where did that come from? I did want to that was that. I thought Cosmonaut asked one other. How connected do you feel to these characters as opposed to others you've played or are currently playing? Yeah, I don't know. Do you feel strong? How do you feel?
We talked about it a little bit earlier, but I felt like very aligned with Calliope.
Yeah.
In a way that like just felt very natural. Very much like hey, I see something interesting, and I'll just immediately vocalize that instead of having to put it through a filter of like, what would this character think? What would this character do? Like sometimes I play characters that are challenges, like characters who are mean and like powerful in their meanness. Very difficult for me to play. I think good for me to play, but yeah, Calliope was comfort food every week.
That's awesome.
Kadam's a solid number 2 for me.
Number 2 for
me.
Sorry, in regards to like being connected.
How connected I feel. Yeah. They are the character I've played the longest, by far, by double. But they're too well adjusted. They're too grounded. I love them. Like, it has been a joy playing Kadam. But I feel like I got everything out of them that I was going to get for myself like a year and a half, maybe 2 years in. And with my number 1 character, I'm still not done with her. Like, I need to go back to her at some point in my life, and we need to do a little bit more together. She needs to figure herself out a little bit more. She's also the one who talks to me, and sometimes will not shut up. But
Amazing.
Yeah.
I did not expect to play Pip for nearly as long.
You signed up for 4 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, and so I made a character that I thought would be fun to play for 4 to 8 weeks. And then it kind of was like, okay, how do I make this work?
Well, she's like, it's such a fun exercise. I love like a bit characters like getting expanded. Yeah,
and I think eventually it happened, and very much thanks to a lot of work from everyone else too. It was, I mean, I am not somebody, I think, who naturally will be forward about saying what I want. So it was also interesting to play a character who would never shut up about what she wanted. And I guess as for the crush thing, though, it was just like, I feel like there's just not enough time to devote to like all of Pip's crushes and whatever. And I mean, I do regret that she didn't get to talk to Sylvira more, but if I feel like those were things that were kind of happening. We just didn't put the camera on it.
Oh yeah, totally.
Just sending stone every night before you go to bed.
Yeah. Just like one sentence. What did I do in Avernus today? But it's
how
still
does Toriel keep
also
tracking us?
everyone.
She's ahead of every step. How is she doing this?
That's amazing.
Yeah, no OPSEC whatsoever.
We're just about at time here, but I did see in our little doc over here there was a question that I would be happy to end with, which was, well, for all of you, was there somewhere in Avernus you wished you'd been able to visit? But also, can I show you all the map, the full map? Yes, I can. You can totally jump onto Roll20 if you want. And I sent you over there, and I revealed all the little markers. And I can actually send us as the chat over to see the map with all the little markers revealed.
Secrets revealed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Was there somewhere that you all wish you had been able to have visited?
Let me see the map.
Yeah, let me see the map.
Yeah. But also, like, I wanted to do more with Archon and with Tiamat.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He promised that he would find us, and then he just
did.
Us up.
He broke his promise.
Yeah.
He never.
Well, you know,
again.
he had to say a cool bad guy thing before you all left. So.
Oh my God, the Cypriacs. That's the thing that we busted out for the.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is that actually a thing?
Yeah.
A
Did you
Sebriax?
recycle?
Yeah, no, that is a real thing. Yeah. Yeah, no, that was a so yeah, again, like a lot of the stuff was, I mean, the Avernus archive was, I think the Avernus archive was all homebrew, but the little hook to go there, the Sebriax, that was a actual quest line from the module, but the Sebriax instead would reveal info about the wrecked flying fortress, which you can see down there on the south.
I was gonna ask, what's going on down there?
So again, this is where some homebrew came in. So the wrecked flying fortress was supposed to be the original location where the adamantine locks were located, but I was just really struggling with that in terms of it making sense. I was like, sure, I could see a flying fortress being destroyed and crashing. That's just fine. But man, if it's the one that's holding these locks, I feel like the devils would be on that like so fast to try to recover it. Like, I don't know. There could have been a world where like you were racing against them to try to get there first or something. But yeah, in my head, I decided, I was like, you know what makes more sense is to put it inside just a functioning one that is going to be refueling at the Stygian dock, which you can see there, kind of in the middle of the map on the river Styx. And that was also sort of an encounter that was in the module where there's like, you can end up at the river Styx at these like refueling stations where the flying fortresses literally like suck up souls from the river Styx to like refuel it. So yeah, those were like, that was all sort of for the Avernus archive. I just was like, oh, here's this Sebriax that is a demon that apparently just like knows a shit ton of information, and I just was like, sure, let's do that.
Oh, that's wild. Out of all of these, we ended up at Uldrock's grave exactly when we needed to.
Oh, I know. It's just like so wild that you did that happened. Yeah. Yeah, there you never went to the crypt of the Hell Riders, which was
yeah,
like,
that was good.
Yeah, what's that?
That's where Olanthius is, one of the generals.
Didn't he turn to Zariel? Or
he did.
Continue following Zariel?
Yes, he did, and he is. Why is he there? There's some reason that he's there. It's like his resting place, I think. Yeah, it's like his resting. He's a Death Knight, and that's his resting place. And I think she can basically just summon him whenever, and he'll, appear and be like, what is your bidding? So yeah, that's like his resting place. You can go there, and there's other Hell Riders in there. I think it's all the ones that were loyal to Zariel are inside that crypt, I believe.
Okay.
The ones that like stayed to the end. And then, oh yeah, the pit of Shumarath. There's a pit fiend that got is slowly being tortured and got cursed, and as part of it basically, part of this curse, it turned into this like primordial green sludge at the bottom of this canyon, and there's a devil that you can meet there that's in a cage that's slowly being dumped into it and then back out like for eternity. Yeah, anyways, there's some wild stuff. The mirror of Mephistar, I believe I gave you like a hook to go there. You never went there. That is a mirror where you can directly interface with what is it, Mephistopheles?
Yes.
Yeah, one of the archdevils of.
Oh, yeah.
Another archdevil. So you could have gone and talked to another archdevil if you'd gone to that mirror.
What's the obelisk?
Yeah,
it's
just obelisk.
Obelisk is.
It's just a tourist trap. That's all.
What is the obelisk? Wait, what the fuck is the obelisk? Oh, I think it's a prison for a demon.
Yeah, we got those a dime a dozen.
Yeah, I think that's what that is. Obelisk.
Camera pans out and there's 30 obelisks.
Yeah. So that if you go there, there's a human man that's in tattered robes that's there and is trying to convince you to help him, and then if you do, it's like, oh, it's a demon. Surprise. So, yeah.
Okay.
Are the sundered chains the chains sundered from El Terrell or different sundered
The other
chains?
city.
It's a
Yeah?
different city, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So it is heavily implied. It's I don't think it's ever explicitly stated in the module, but it is heavily implied that Zariel has done this before. And,
No.
yeah, and
What?
I hinted at that. There was something that happened where there was some NPC that kind of did a throwaway line where they said something to that effect of like oh, she's
Zariel's doing it again.
yeah,
or something
Zariel's
like
doing
that.
it again. It was very much like I did it as like a throwaway line, and I guess Claire caught it. Did you catch that, Enyo, or? Oh, okay. So
No.
I guess it was only Claire that caught it. Yeah, it may have been Mad Maggie actually. She may have been the one that said something like, "Yeah, the Space Needle of Hell," says Flash.
There we go.
The Tormentor.
I'm so glad we didn't go to the Hell Wasp nests.
Oh God,
Yeah.
Sounds like a
almost
bad
did.
time.
So that is like a whole fucking thing too of like the way that the adventure is designed, and I think I just decided not to do this, and I'm glad I did that I just crossed this out. So when you go to Harriman's Hill or Coward's Way to like find Yonder, during that encounter as written, when Harriman shows up, you I think go through like one round of combat, and Harriman is also way more of a pushover in the module. I made him more of like an actual boss fight. You do like one round of combat, and then out of nowhere a bunch of hell wasps show up, and they specifically go for Lulu, and they take her away.
No.
And just like, and it just felt so random. It's like, what like what is, how does this serve the story? Like, this is so random.
We need more side quests.
Yeah. So I took that out. But yeah,
So funny.
you basically, if you did do that, basically the Hell Wasp Nest was just something I had as like a random, role
Yeah.
that you might end up there. And there is kind of a cool, like, the implications are pretty severe, and I would have sat and really thought about it. But the Hell Wasp Nest, the way they're described, they're hovering above, the plains, and they're being held down, I think, by like leftover chains or something. Not city chains, just like there's chains in Avernus or something, But anyways, the reason that they're
Supernatural.
hovering, what it says in the module is that the Hell Wasps have taken dead Celestials from like battles, I guess, that have happened on Avernus, and stitched them into their nests, and the Celestial bodies just inherently kind of float. They just sort of have like an anti-grav function. So
That's actually so cool.
so it's like the visual, I think, is pretty metal, of like these celestial like angels that are stitched into the sides of this like papery wasp nest to help them hover above the plains of Avernus. But the implications of that are crazy. I'm like, okay, how many dead celestials are there in Avernus?
So, Kill
Anyway.
6 Feeling Demons by the person who made Lancer currently has a storyline where there's a whole bunch of these like aerial battleships that are
Ooh.
built on the backs of dead celestials that have been like turned to stone and petrified and stuff. So it's just like a like statue of a person, like, I don't know, like in a prayer position with like
Yeah.
huge wings and stuff, and then they have like all these like little cannons sticking out of
That's
their
awesome.
sides where people have like built like palanquins and stuff like on top. And like turn them into battleships, and
Oh,
it's a very cool idea, like using the bodies of like dead celestials and dead gods to just for their like lighter than air properties.
Properties to float around. But like the implications of that, so are there just like giant dead bodies that are just kind of
Yeah.
floating in the upper atmosphere? Like,
Yeah, just
You may as well live on.
slowly
May as well
rise.
use them.
well, yeah. Do they just infinitely rise until they're gone, or do they reach some
Maybe
sort of
weather pushes
equilibrium?
up and
Like,
down.
There's
I don't
some kind of balance. Anyways, yeah. So, yes, I think the visual very cool of celestials being sewn into a wasp nest, but I was struggling with the logic of like, I mean, it doesn't have to be logical in hell, but I want there to be some amount of like feasibility, like
I love you.
things. Anyways, So that's the map. And yeah, I think that's a good ending point. A fun little whoop. There's all the stuff. Yeah, I guess that's it. That is actually it.
We're done with the
all
Avernus?
done.
Oh, sorry.
We're done with the Avernus. Yeah. Well, anyways, thank you for joining us tonight. We're gonna take a break next week, and then we'll be back the following week to start Monster Hearts, I think. If we're not ready, maybe we'll do a break. We can play whatever, Stardew or Baldur's Gate or
games.
something. Yeah. But we'll definitely let you know. We should be ready to do Monster Hearts. So.
I think that I will be ready.
Great.
That is my belief.
All right.
Yeah. Join us for Monster Hearts in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.